The Pacific stretches wide along the western edge of Los Angeles County, where coastal bluffs rise above the shoreline, and the rhythm of the waves has remained constant for thousands of years. Today, Santa Monica is known for its beaches, its iconic pier, and its role as one of Southern California's most recognizable coastal cities. But beneath that modern identity lies a much older story, shaped by natural resources, shifting cultures, and a steady transformation that reflects the broader history of California itself. Long before the city of Santa Monica became known for its beaches, its pier, and its place in the story of Southern California, the land itself held a deeper history shaped by nature and by the people who first called it home. Along the edge of the Pacific, where coastal bluffs meet open ocean, freshwater springs once flowed freely from the earth. These springs gave life to a small but vital settlement, creating a place of gathering, trade, and survival in an otherwise dry coastal landscape. For thousands of years, this area was inhabited by the Tongva people, who lived across much of what is now the Los Angeles basin. They knew this place as a source of water and connection, and their presence marked the earliest chapter in Santa Monica's story. The Tongva established villages throughout the region, including one near the springs that would later define the area's early identity. Their society was complex and deeply connected to the land. They fished along the coast, gathered plants, and maintained trade networks that extended far beyond the shoreline. The ocean provided food and transportation, while inland routes connected them to neighboring groups. Life here followed natural rhythms, shaped by seasons, tides, and the availability of resources. For generations, this balance remained steady, long before outside forces began to reshape the region. That change began in the late 18th century, when Spanish explorers and missionaries arrived in Alta California. In 1769, the Portola expedition traveled through the area, documenting the landscape and its people. The Spanish recognized the freshwater springs and named the area after Saint Monica, reportedly because they reached the site on her feast day. This marked the beginning of a new era, one that would dramatically alter the lives of the Tongva and the future of the land itself. With Spanish colonization came the mission system, centered nearby at Mission San Gabriel Archangel. The Tongva were drawn into this system, often through force, and their traditional way of life disrupted. They were converted to Christianity and required to work within the mission economy. Disease and harsh conditions led to a sharp decline in their population. What had once been a thriving indigenous presence was gradually diminished, leaving behind only fragments of a culture that had shaped the region for centuries. As the Spanish control gave way to Mexican rule in the early 19th century, the land around Santa Monica was divided into large ranchos. These land grants were given to individuals who would use them primarily for cattle ranching. One of the most significant was Rancho San Vicente y Santa Monica, granted in 1839. The rancho system introduced a new way of organizing land and labor, centered on agriculture and livestock. While it brought a different kind of development to the area, it remained relatively quiet and rural, far from the urban center that would eventually emerge. The transition to American control after the Mexican-American War in 1848 marked another turning point. California became part of the United States, and the land that had once been shaped by indigenous communities and Spanish missions now entered a period of rapid transformation. The ranchos were gradually broken up and sold, opening the door for new settlers and new ideas about development. In 1875, Santa Monica officially began to take shape as a town. Senator John P. Jones of Nevada, along with Colonel Robert S. Baker, purchased land in the area with the vision of creating a coastal resort community. They saw the potential of the location, with its ocean views, mild climate, and proximity to the growing city of Los Angeles. That same year, the town of Santa Monica was formally laid out, marking the beginning of its transformation from open land into an organized settlement. The arrival of the railroad played a crucial role in this early development. The Los Angeles and Independence Railroad connected Santa Monica to the inland city, making it easier for people and goods to move between the coast and the growing urban center. This connection helped establish Santa Monica as both a transportation hub and a destination. Visitors could now travel to the ocean with relative ease, and the idea of seaside leisure began to take hold. As the town grew, so did its reputation as being a place of escape and recreation. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw the development of bathhouses, hotels, and attractions designed to draw visitors to the coast. The ocean was no longer just a resource. It became an experience. People came to enjoy the fresh air, the views, and the sense of openness that defined the shoreline. One of the most iconic developments in Santa Monica's history was the construction of its pier. The original Santa Monica Pier opened in 1909, primarily as a utility structure designed to carry sewage pipes beyond the breakers. However, it did not remain purely functional for long. A second adjoining pier, built in 1916, introduced amusement features, including rides, games, and entertainment. Together, these structures formed what would become one of the most recognizable landmarks on the California coast. The pier quickly became a symbol of Santa Monica's identity. It represented the merging of practicality and leisure, of infrastructure and entertainment. Visitors could walk out over the ocean, enjoy attractions, and take in views that stretched across the horizon. The sound of the waves below and the energy of the crowds above created a unique atmosphere, one that continues to define the pier today. Throughout the early 20th century, Santa Monica continued to grow. Residential neighborhoods expanded, and the population increased as more people were drawn to the coastal lifestyle. The city developed its own character, distinct from nearby Los Angeles, while still remaining closely connected to it. Streets were laid out, businesses opened, and civic institutions took shape, turning the once small settlement into a thriving community. The 1920s and 1930s brought both growth and challenges. The rise of the automobile changed how people moved through the region, making Santa Monica even more accessible. At the time, the Great Depression affected communities across the country, including this one. Despite economic hardship, the city maintained its role as a destination, offering a sense of escape during difficult times. World War II introduced another shift. Santa Monica became part of the broader wartime effort, with nearby industries contributing to aircraft production and other military needs. The population grew as workers moved into the area, and the city adapted to the demands of a changing world. After the war, the growth continued, fueled by economic expansion and the increasing appeal of Southern California as a place to live. The post-war years saw Santa Monica evolve into a more fully developed urban environment. Commercial areas expanded, and new infrastructure supported a growing population. The beach and pier remained central to the city's identity, but they were now part of a larger, more complex community. Schools, parks, and public services reflected the needs of residents who were no longer just visitors, but permanent members of the city. By the latter half of the 20th century, Santa Monica faced new challenges. Urban development, environmental concerns, and changing economic conditions all played a role in shaping its direction. efforts to preserve the coastline and maintain public access to the beach became increasingly important. The city worked to balance growth with conservation, recognizing the value of its natural setting. At the same time, Santa Monica continued to attract visitors from around the world. The pier remained a focal point, while nearby areas like the 3rd Street Promenade developed into centers of shopping and activity. The city's location, climate, and history combined to create a place that was both rooted in the past and responsive to the present. Today, Santa Monica stands as a reflection of its layered history. Beneath the modern city lies the memory of indigenous communities who first understood the value of this land. The influence of Spanish and Mexican periods can still be seen in place names and historical records. The vision of early American developers shaped the layout and purpose of the city, while the growth of tourism and industry defined its character over time. The story of Santa Monica is not a single moment or event, but instead a continuous process of change. From freshwater springs and coastal villages to railroads, piers, and neighborhoods, each era has left its mark. The city's identity has been built over generations, shaped by those who lived there, worked there, and passed through its shores. In the end, Santa Monica's history is tied to its location at the edge of the Pacific. The ocean has always been a constant, even as everything else has changed. It drew the first inhabitants, inspired developers, and continues to define the city's place in Southern California. What began as a quiet coastal site has grown into a city recognized around the world, carrying with it the stories of all who came before.